Tulip hats are easy to draft and make. I'll show you how you can draft your own pattern from your own measurements, or you can download my pattern from my website for free. And you can start sewing right away. You need two measurements. Ear-to-ear measurement, which is from the top of one ear to the top of the other ear, and your head circumference. Measure the biggest part of your head. You need a piece of paper about the size of US letter or A4. I made a test hat from muslin, which is just simple cotton fabric. It came out too big and also too puffy on top. So I think I need to shave this off. I really need to keep this 60 degrees angle here. Come in about 1/16 of an inch, about 2 millimeters here, and that's gonna make it about an inch and a half smaller in the end. I'm gonna make the brim a little bit narrower and shorter. I hope this works out. The second test hat came out to be much more to my liking, but I felt that the crown part was too deep, blocking my sight too much. So I shortened the crown by half an inch. Okay, half an inch was too much. It came out to be too shallow, so I think if I added back the length by a quarter of an inch, it will be perfect. I'm satisfied with the testing stage, so I'll proceed to finalize the pattern and start sewing. I used this thick linen rayon blend, and I digitized my pattern so you can download it if you like this style. Align the arrow on the pattern parallel to the savage edge of the fabric. I'm cutting out on a double layer of fabric to get two pieces from cutting once. Place a couple of pins to hold down the pattern in place, then cut out the pieces. To save the fabric, I alternated the direction of the pattern piece. You can do this too if your fabric doesn't have a direction. You need to cut 6 pieces each from your outer fabric and your lining fabric. I used the same fabric for the outer layer and the lining layer, so I cut out 12 exact same pieces. Now you divide them into groups of 3 and piece them together with your sewing machine. Pick up any 2 pieces and put the right size together and sew with a quarter of an inch seam allowance. I stopped at a quarter of an inch in from the brim edge because I want to fray the edge later. Open the seam allowance and stitch down on each side of the first stitch. On second thought, I did the stitching from the outside. You cannot see the seam allowance, so you have to feel it with your fingers. It seems counterintuitive, but it's easier to do it this way because the teeth of your sewing machine will ease in the seam allowance as you sew. Now repeat the process with the third piece. Once you've sewn 3 pieces each together, you can sew the big 2 pieces together in one long seam to complete the hat shape. Stitch down the seam allowances the same way, and you have all 6 pieces nicely sewn together without a hole on top. Repeat the process with the lining pieces. Flip the lining piece wrong side out and slip it into the outer layer. Align all the seams nicely and stitch around the hat, 3/8 of an inch from the raw edge. I did the second row of stitch about 1/8 of an inch outside of the first stitch. This stitch is to stop the fabric from fraying too much. To make the frayed edge, take out the thread from the fabric by hand or using an awl. Then cut the loose threads to your desired look. I am very happy with the result. 2 layers of this heavyweight fabric hold the hat shape very well. I think this hat would also look really cute with recycled denim fabric. If you want to make the brim bigger for a more dramatic look and actual sun protection, you might want to use a layer of interfacing. I am thinking about making this hat in sheer fabric just for the aesthetic. Obviously, a sheer hat wouldn't provide any sun protection, but hats with no apparent purposes other than being fashionable have been around in the history of fashion. So we'll see how it would turn out. If you want to see the project or if you think it's a terrible idea, please comment below because I get really excited when I get the occasional comments. If you like sewing and DIY contents like this, please consider subscribing to my channel and be my sewing friend. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.